from the production studios of Epic Financial Strategies here in Red Bank, New Jersey. We are InfinityX, giving a stage and microphone to human excellence in the constant pursuit of trying to create ideas, ecosystem mergers, and opportunities for the entrepreneur to hear from people who have been there, done that, and are accelerating in massive ways in business. And ladies and gentlemen, I have been waiting for tonight for weeks. We have hip hop royalty. There's no other way to say it. We have the James Bond of hip hop. We have none other than Young Gray joining the InfinityX stage this evening. Young, what's up, buddy? How are you tonight?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for jumping on. Hey, Dave, just do me a favor. Try to speak a little bit closer to the mic if you can, just so that I can hear you a little bit better.
Yeah. Can
there
you hear me better now?
Oh, yeah, I got you there.
Nice.
Folks, we are InfinityX.com. We are InfinityX YouTube for the replay, Spotify, etc. And we are InfinityX app. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to kind of precurse tonight's conversation with just a little bit of background journey. I just relatively recently relocated down to Nashville, Tennessee. And maybe on the third day that I moved down, my wife, Melissa, who I believe is shout out to Melissa. She's on the podcast tonight.
Hey, Melissa.
Yeah. She's over at the pool and my phone starts blowing up, right? Because I'm back at the house. I'm probably unpacking stuff or something like that. And my phone starts blowing up and she calls me and she says, Dave, whatever you're doing, stop right now. Come back to the pool. I'm hanging out with Young Gray. And I'm like, oh my. And I've had the good fortune of getting to know Young over the past couple of weeks, and him and his family have embraced my family, and I'm forever grateful for that. We've become incredibly close. He's my boy, and he's really leveling up and doing incredible things. And Dave, we're super excited to hear the journey of human excellence, the things that you're up to, my friend. Again, from my heart to yours, I really, really, truly honor you. And, what we always do, Young, is we go through the journey of human excellence, right? Because you can't know where you go until you know where you're at, right? And, your story is one that is incredibly powerful, right? It has had trials and tribulations, massive success and change, right? So where did it all start? Where were you born? Where did you grow up, brother?
So I was born in Livingston, New Jersey at St. Barnabas Hospital. I was born and raised in a small town called Mine Hill, New Jersey. Mine Hill, it's you can literally drive through Mine Hill in about 30 seconds. That's how small of a town it is. It's next to Dover, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Population in Mine Hill is usually it's more white class, and then Dover is more Hispanic and Black. Okay. But I went to Dover Middle School growing up. But before we get there, so I'll give you a little bit of background on me. I grew up in a Christian household. My mom super religious. Both my sisters straight A students. Yeah. Straight, like when I tell you straight A students, I mean straight A. Like my sister graduated like valedictorian, that type.
Wow. Okay.
That type of smart.
I wouldn't know anything about that, by the way.
Yeah, neither would I. So as a kid, I had a really good life. My parents were good. We had a great life, but I wanted to be everything that my sisters weren't. So my sisters are Giants fans like you. I had to be a Cowboys. My sisters like the Mets. I'm a Yankees fan, and it just goes on and on and on and on. Ironically, the crazy thing is my parents never let me really listen to hip hop music growing up. So I would sneak in my room on these cassette players as a kid. I would put these cassettes into the to like this little TV in my room and record all the hip hop on BET and everything, and just play it back over and over and over again. I'd come home from school. That's the only thing I would do.
Who were some of the inspirations at that point, bro?
Lil Wayne was my favorite growing up by far. Lil Wayne, Obviously, you have Nas, Biggie, Tupac,
Yep.
Some of the bigs, but Lil Wayne, obviously Wiz Khalifa, Snoop Dogg. The list goes on. Any sort of hip hop, I was listening to it. There wasn't a person that I wasn't listening to. So the love for hip hop and the love for music was an early stage for me growing up.
Yep.
And then I latched onto it. I had a neighbor named James who was a producer. And I remember my first actual real record I cut. I was 13 years old. Before that, I was recording.
Oh my God.
I had one speaker that I would hold in front of the computer. I swear, like this. I'd hold one speaker in front of the computer, and then I would rap into this like hand-me-down microphone on this big Hewlett Packard. And
Yeah.
it was so bad. As kids, me and my cousins would joke around and do it. But I always stuck with that, always. So from the age of 12 till now, I always stuck with that. I always practiced. I always wrote. I always stayed with what I had to do. My background. So I know I talked to you a little bit about this, but my background has always been in sales and marketing. So obviously I have done hip hop since I was 12, but my background was always in sales and marketing. I started the door-to-door program for Sloman Security, which is based East Coast.
Wait.
First
How old were you when you started that up? Wait.
I started that when I was 17. Before that, though, I was knocking on doors for a company called Morris Windows and Siding. And I was 14 years old, and I would knock on doors just generating leads, right? So I would knock on a door, I would generate a lead, and a sales rep would come up and then close that lead. So I did that so well. They would pay me $50 commissions every time a sales guy would close the deal. And I would look at these commissions that these guys were making. They're selling $20,000 worth of windows, $30,000 worth of siding, blah, blah, blah. And I went to my boss after a year time of being there. I went to my boss and I said, hey, you know what? I want to knock on the doors and I want to sell them myself. And he said, you know what? Like, you're crazy. These guys that are working here, they're literally double your age, if not even more. Like, what? Like, there's no way. So I said, all right. So if one of these guys goes out and they knock on the doors, get a self-generated sale, you give them extra commission, right? He's like, yeah, we give them 5% extra, like every time they get their own sale. So I said, all right, you know what? Like, can you give me a shot? I know I'm 15. I don't even have a car. There's nothing. I'll knock on the door and I'll generate my own sale. He said to me, he said, all right, you know what? He said, okay, fine, but I'm taking away all of your pay. So if you don't sell, you're not going to make a penny. And I said,
commission based. All right.
Yeah, just commission. He took away, I was making probably like $10 an hour at like 14, 15 or whatever. So I was making, but I was making the money off of those $50 off of every time they would sell it. So I said, all right, fine. Like, I won't take any money. I'll go knock on the door and I'll generate my own lead and then I'll close it. So sure enough, I would go to the house, I would knock on the door, I would pitch them whether it's new windows or siding or whatever. And then I would set up or essentially I would almost do it right there as a walk-in. I wouldn't even set up appointments. The only thing that took time, which is funny, was my mother would drop off a window sample to the house. My mother would drop off a window sample to the house, and then no. Here you got. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. That's okay. That's what the young say.
So my mother would drop off a window sample to wherever I was, and then that's how I would close the deal. Long story short,
shout out to your mom for that, by the way. That's unbelievable.
yeah, because I didn't have a car. I would be out there working, whatever. So my mom would come and literally drop me off a window sample or siding or whatever I was selling. and I was the Park Ave Distributor of the Year for 2 years doing that. So I was the #1 sales rep in the whole company for them as a 15-year-old kid, destroying all of these adults in their 30s and everything just based off of work ethic.
Yeah.
So from there on, my boss decided to move to Florida. He shut down the company. I said, I'm going to try to take my skill set somewhere else and try something different. So that's what led me to Sloman Security. I went to them and I said, you know what, like, this is what I've been doing. I've been knocking on doors. I've been extremely successful doing it. I said, let me try to see if I can knock on doors and sell your product, which was security, oil, and security and oil they do. So, or home heating oil. So I would go out, do the same exact thing. I would knock on the doors. I would sell the security, and then I would sell oil and stuff. I did so well doing that I developed teams upon teams upon teams upon teams upon teams because of the proven method that I had taught, and we generated over 20,000 accounts for Sloman Security.
Oh my God! At what age, Dave, were you doing this?
17 going into 18, 19. So I was like, like just barely like in like I was in high school, but like just 17 to 18 I was doing that. At the age of 19, I decided to go over because same exact concept as Sloman's. Like I was making a crap ton of money, way more money than any of my friends combined. But I said, you know what? Like I feel like I'm capped out here. They had me on a salary plus like $50 commissions again. So I said, you know what? Like I'm gonna try something different in life. Well, not something different, same industry, but I want to try to make more money. So I went over to ADT, and ADT had a very different type of program, basically. So I worked for corporate. So ADT corporate, they only require 3 SGLs, which are self-generated leads, right?
Right. Yep.
That's per month that these reps have to do. They have to get 3 self-generated leads. Long story short, I was doing like 50, 60, 70 a month self-generated leads, which those sales are worth like 3-4 times the amount as company leads. So I said, why in the world am I even really doing these company leads when I'm making a fortune off of self-generated leads? I was on the chairman of the board in Club Excellence for ADT. So I was the #1 sales rep in North America for ADT. At the time I decided to leave, which makes it even crazier.
Yeah, folks, we are InfinityX stage and microphone. This is Young Gray. We are going through the journey of human excellence replay. We are InfinityX.com. We are InfinityX YouTube. And Dave, I'm going to leave everybody hanging on that for one moment because I also want to honor your background athletically, right? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but while you were doing all of this, you were doing a thing or two on the court and on the baseball field as well, correct?
Yep. Baseball was my main sport. So I could have been drafted. My father passed away during the draft, so I never went to play pro ball. But I played. I was #2 in the nation at one point, which was pretty good. Sports. Sports was always my go-to. And to be honest with you, that kind of when my father passed away, that put me in a really bad spot. Like at that time, that's why I stopped playing sports. But it was just at the moment, like if I could take it back, I would, because I knew that's something that he would want me to do. But at the moment, it was the toughest thing for me because I would always look to see my dad in the stands, and I remember just going on the mound and not being able to see him, and it broke my heart. So but life has different plans for you. I always say,
Isn't that true?
I have friends like Rick Porcello was one of my really good friends growing up. He won the Cy Young. And then this is what I do. I do hip hop. And I make moves. That's it. So
Yeah, you're making
there's
moves in a huge way. Let's talk about D. Let's talk about that move that you made. Okay, so you're the number one sales rep in the United States, folks. ADT, right? That's not a small outfit. You're the number one sales rep in the United States for ADT. You're on top of the world, moving. You're at a young age, not even 20 years old, I think, at this particular
yeah,
point,
yeah.
and you decide strategically to make a move. What'd you do?
So then I went over to Vivint Security. I had a buddy reach out to me, and said, "Hey, you know what? Like, like obviously we know you can sell. You're the best at selling. Can you come and manage teams and offices for us over at Vivint? The pay
Hmm.
scale's a lot bigger. Um, the basically everything that the package was all that in a bag of chips pretty much.
Right,
So
right.
packed up my family, we left, we moved out to Texas for a little bit, and I did like the whole summer. So I went out, I grinded for a whole summer, made a ton of money, and I was able to
Door
take the
knocking, by the way, Dave. Still door
rest of
knocking.
no, yeah, this was door knocking at the time.
Oh,
Yeah, so I made a ton of money, and then you're able to just take the rest of the year off, right? So
right.
from that point on, after that first summer, the first summer I didn't manage. I just went out. I wanted to see. I wanted to evaluate how everything was working, get used to everything. Um, I did. I think that summer, I finished number two in the Madness, and I beat out the number one rep for Vivint or whatever. I lost because the guy who beat me, they cheated. It was two brothers that cheated that knocked me out. But
Unbelievable. And by the way,
yeah,
for those of you out there, the Madness is an internal sales contest. It's one of the biggest contests in the industry at Vivint. And Dave
yeah,
came. Dave was number one, right? Young was
yeah,
number one,
I
but
was. I sold. I remember selling 9 that day, and this is what really bugged me. I sold 9 in one day by knocking on doors. That is freaking hard, like really
yeah.
hard. A good day is like 2 or 3, like if you're knocking on doors. So I remember selling 9 this day, and I'm up. It's me and my buddy Zach, one of my best friends, and we're up. It's 8 o'clock at night, and we're looking at the live stats because you can see all the live stats. Like this was like the real deal. Like they build this up like the World Cup, right? So
Right.
I remember looking at these stats, and I'm up by 4 sales at 8 o'clock at night.
You
So
got it in the bag. So you're, yeah.
yeah, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go home. Like, don't worry. Like, I'm not like, what's the stress about? I woke up the next day and I lost by a half a point. And
Oh,
I was like, how in the world did someone from 8 o'clock, like, was this guy out till 3, 4 in the morning, like making deals? Like,
and who was
so
answering the door at 3 or 4 o'clock in the
yeah,
morning? You know what I mean?
it was mind blowing to me. Um, so the great thing I can tell you, and the purpose of what we're talking about now is, those sorts of doors that I knocked on has opened up more doors for me as
Mm.
far as in the music industry. So every door that I knock on, I always consider an opportunity. I sold a security system for Mario Johnson, which is Mr. Chalk, right? So
Mhm.
Mr. Chalk produced Ice Ice Baby. Most of you guys know that by Vanilla Ice.
Yep.
Talking My Daughter by Dr. Dre, Discombobulated by Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on, right?
Yep. Yep.
So that this opportunity would have never happened if I didn't knock on the door. So I'm inside his house and I'm designing him a security system for his home. And I say, as I'm designing it, I say, hey, he's playing a beat on repeat, by the way. So it's him and Shaw Money and I didn't know who it was at the time, Shaw Money, but that's Puff Daddy's in-house producer. So it's
Got it.
both of them, and they're in the house and they're listening to the same beat over and over and over again. And then like I'm still designing the system. I go to him. I said, hey, I can rap. He said, haha, BS, just do your job. True story. Told me to do my job. I said, hey, I can rap. Like, and I said it like 4 or 5 times. He didn't pay me not one single attention. Eventually, I just started
Yeah.
freestyling and pointing out all of the stuff in the house and all of that crazy stuff till I piqued his interest. And then they both started listening
Oh
to me,
my.
and I just kept on going and going and going for like 5 minutes. I would just go and go and go and go and go, and then eventually he it got his attention, and he started listening to what I was saying. And then so this part is really going to blow your mind, and how the universe is just, when things are meant to happen, they're meant to happen. So
As if my mind is blown already, by the way. I
yeah,
mean, I'm just like, this is inspiring beyond belief. I love it. Keep going.
so the crazy thing is crap, sorry, we got the baby outside now, with, sorry guys. So
It's all good.
so if you hear some noise, it's just the boy. But
Oh,
so the
shout
crazy
out to the
thing
boy.
is, that within a 2-day span from that, there was a tragedy. My mother-in-law passed away. So then we ended up going to back to New Jersey to be closer to my father-in-law, and the family back in New Jersey. So me and my wife were sitting down and we're watching a documentary on TV. And as we're watching it on TV, he pops up on this documentary talking about, and I'm like, look, Chris, there he is, Mr. Chalk, he wants to work with me. She's like, BS, Dave, like, yeah, okay, whatever, like joking around. As we're watching him on TV, true story, he calls my phone. So I'm like, oh, look, Chris, here he is. He's calling me right now. I put him on the phone with Chris, and then he talks to her. It's like, yo, your husband's the real deal, blah, 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 blah. The next day, he flew out from California to New Jersey, because I sold him in California. When I was in California, I sold him in California. We went back to New Jersey. This cat flew out from California all the way to New Jersey. The next day, we did 3 songs, and then my 4th song had Snoop Dogg on it.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. And hey, Danny, I'm going to need you here in a minute, brother. Well, ladies, we are InfinityX with a stage and microphone for human excellence. Replay on weareinfinityx.com. We are InfinityX YouTube. And hey, so Dave, give me one moment, because there's a lot to unpack there. And listen, for all of you, aspiring, I don't care if you're an aspiring artist, an aspiring entrepreneur, or somebody who's looking to level up where you work or in life. What you heard is door knocking and door-to-door sales, ladies and gentlemen, is by far the hardest and most challenging job in sales. And what I heard in Young's story is, number one, persistency. Number two, perfecting the art of your craft, right? Because even if you get an objection, even if you get a no, there are telltale signs and takeaways that you can take a look at whenever you get those objections or whenever you get those no's, that you can then role play and or repeat. And if you have a repeatable, scalable process, you will continue through the game of numbers, right? Shout out to Nick Murray. That's a hell of a book. Through the game of numbers, if you're consistent, you suit up and you show up on a daily basis, opportunities come out. I also heard Dave share that, anytime that he knocks on a door, or anytime a relationship introduced, I've seen this firsthand, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, with him. Anytime a relationship walks into his life, he embraces it for what it could be and not what it's not going to be. And that, that's the spirit of entrepreneurship, right? And that's somebody who thinks on a bigger scale and a different level. And so, Young, I can't thank you enough for sharing all of that. But we just, the microphone almost just dropped, ladies and gentlemen. By suiting up and showing up, he was given the opportunity to meet an icon in the music industry, and who flew out to come see him because he was consistent with his messaging. And by the fourth song, he was collaborating with Snoop Doggy Dogg, with Snoop Doggy Dogg. So Young, tell me a little bit about, were you shitting in your pants when all this was taking place, or were you like, nah, bring it on to me, man? Like, this is my time. I'm ready to accelerate forward. What was that like?
No, I mean, um, I guess like in a way, and this is gonna sound crazy, but in a way, I would go to bed every night and just visualize that happening, and I saw it happen before it actually happened, so I knew it was gonna happen. And I would do that like, and this may sound crazy, but like before I would go to sleep every day, I would literally say it in my head over and over and over again, like, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. So even before like I met Chalk and all of this sort of stuff, I already had painted that picture that it was gonna happen. But it did. And that's the crazy thing. So for me, once it finally did happen, it just became more of a reality to what I was already picturing, or already painting a picture for. If you dream it, if you believe it, then it's gonna happen. And that's my motto. If you believe it, you'll achieve it. But yeah, I guess in a way it was a little bit surreal. Like I remember the first time standing next to Snoop Dogg, and we're shooting a video, right, for Celebrate, and I'm standing on his right, and I'm standing on his right side, and then everyone's like, yo, get on the left side, Dave, get on the left side, Greg, left side, and then Snoop looks over, he's like, yeah, only on the left side, yeah, that's the Crip side. So like I remember that, like that, and then it became real reality as when that happened. But Snoop is the nicest dude in the world, man. Like he's like just talking to a regular dude. So he's a cool dude, man.
That's incredible. And Young, we're gonna take a pause here, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna play for the good folks out there a little sample set of your collaboration with Snoop Dogg and Celebrate.
Okay. Yeah.
Danny, whenever you're ready, roll that. You share the screen. Make sure you enable the sound also, Dan.
Chris, you can't go inside without him.
Huh? Oh, okay. All right. We're not, you know what, Dave? We're having some technical difficulties, so we're not going to be able to roll the clip.
Yeah, don't even stress. No, that's cool, man. Yeah, look it up. Young Gray.
There it is right there, folks. Check it out in the chat right there. Young Gray with Snoop Dogg. Celebrate. It is absolutely fire. It was a fantastic collaboration. And was that that was, that was really what I would say is probably really the launching point, Young, right at that moment. What happened next after the collaboration?
Well, I'll tell you something that I haven't shared with you before. I had another launching point before, early in my career. I wrote a song by the name of Lollipop, right, which is crazy because Lil Wayne had a record called Lollipop. I remember being in Chung King's studio at the time, and on the side, this is crazy. On the side, I used to drive cars for D Block, which is like J Styles P, blah blah blah. It was the time of MySpace growing up. So I saw a MySpace ad on MySpace. This was when I was still doing all of the sales, all of that sorts of cool stuff. I had like a really dope ride, blah, blah, blah. So I saw this ad on MySpace, like, hey, you want a chauffeur for D Block? I was like, fucking whatever, like I'll do it.
Right.
So I would literally drive, I would pick them up, drop them to the studio, listen to the whole studio sessions. I thought I was cool. I would like fill up a container of jungle juice, all of that sort of cool stuff, and bring it until the day the jungle juice overfilled the back of the trunk. And then that was the last day of the jungle juice. But so I would listen to their studio sessions. And again, this was that one time like that I did. I went to Vinny Idol, which is D Block's producer, and I said, Vinny, I can rap. And the same exact thing. They're like, this is the chauffeur, dude. Like, are you kidding me? So I rapped for him. That was my first big opportunity that I got. That again, like when I say life circles around, like it really does, because at the time they offered me a deal. I had a kid early in my life. Like at the age of 19, I had my first child.
Yeah.
My ex gave me the ultimatum to either choose the kid or choose music, and they offered me $250,000 or whatever at the time, which I thought was a lot of money or whatever just for music. But I gave up the music at that point to take care of my kid. The crazy thing about that was they said, hey, we want an artist to be on this song with you. His name is Wiz Khalifa. And this was for all the black and yellow, all of that sort of crazy stuff. So
on,
say life circles around, it really does, because if you look at where we're at now, so like I passed up on an opportunity. Now I have a great family, obviously, with my wife, my kids, everyone. And the same opportunities are still here for me. So I did the record with Snoop. We just did the show with Wiz. So we're doing a lot of really, really big things, because if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But again, none of this would really happen if I didn't know how to open up the doors to make it happen. Every deal that I do, I negotiate myself. So like I have a manager. I don't know if he's on the phone. Will, he's off the charts too. He does a lot for me. And he
shout out
helps
to Will. Will's incredible.
Yeah, he helps me negotiate a lot of deals as well. But every single big deal that I do, like I'm doing it all by myself. So like everything. We got the gummy line, we got a cologne line now, we got the True Legacy vodka. So like if you could get your hands in as much things as possible, I always encourage it. Because obviously one is gonna hit. But yeah. So that's a little bit about that aspect.
Unbelievable, folks. We are InfinityX, stage and microphone with human excellence. This is Dave Marone, aka Young Gray, in the building, and his story and his message of consistency and looking to open aggression level towards opening doors, and how when you put good things out into the universe, right? And one of our business partners, Young, his name is Sean Callaghy, and Sean is constantly speaking to the fact that when you lead and offer value, that value chain comes full circle, right? And it's all about the art of emotional rapport building, right? I don't care what industry that you're in, right? If you know how to take somebody from a hello to yes with integrity, which is Sean's unblinded results formula, which is incredible. But if you know how to take somebody from hello to yes with integrity, no door is ever going to be closed on you, right? It's just the fact. It's what the timing is going to look like, and I know for you, experiencing and going through what you've gone through has shaped, really what your vision is, and what your vision is for your future, not only for your family, but for your career. And so, if we fast forward the clock now, you've obviously collaborated and worked with Snoop Dogg. You've collaborated and worked with Wiz Khalifa. You have a very, very, very successful label, right? That's got artists like the Loonies on it, as well as, who are some of the artists that are on your label now, Dave?
We have Alex Smalls on here. Shout out to Alex. He just dropped a new single on Friday. And then we're gonna be working with some more artists as well. Those are obviously our two biggest right now. Vaughn's about to drop a few new songs, so we'll be pushing a lot of records. I know Joey just hopped on. Joey's my right hand man when it comes to everything. You want to talk about graphics, beats, whatever, we get it done.
Hell yeah. And
yeah.
And in addition to what you're doing in the music space, right, both producing as well as rapping, you've moved into other entrepreneurial spirits and other entrepreneurial avenues as well in leveraging your value, right?
Yeah.
It's so unbelievably important, and we talk about this all the time. But and you're operating on the biggest of stages, right, Young? But like if you're looking to put your message out to the universe, or if you're looking for people to want to find out what you're up to in the world, you need to elevate your stage and you need to elevate your microphone, right? And
Yeah.
and you need and leverage your brand, right? And you're leveraging your brand in multiple ways. You'd mentioned the gummy business. Talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so the gummies, cool thing I will tell you, you will not find a hip hop artist right now that has a name gummy brand right now. If you're walking stores and you're seeing Delta 8 products or whatever, you're gonna see like Astro World or just random generic brands, right? So like when I want to press the envelope, everything you see I wear. I'm consistently wearing Young Gray, whether it's the hat, whether it's whatever. Branding is key. So no matter what we do, we want to be a face that people just recognize, right? And even if it is a blank face, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. This is the image that we're trying to press. The gummies were an amazing idea. I partnered up with some really good dudes with the gummies, and we're going to be pushing this on a mega scale. And the best part about it is it's legal. People can buy them online and whatever, and they'll ship them right to your house, no matter where you are, which is awesome.
Yep, margins have to be fantastic in that space too, right, bro?
Oh yeah, the margins are absolutely insane. So yeah, we're pulling like 60 no, probably like close to 70% profits. Yeah.
Wow, unbelievable. And when you do analytics of looking at something that you want to invest your capital and or your time, because your time is your capital as well, right? That's a big piece for you, especially being a family man. When you look at investing your time capital and or your money, what are some things that you look at in a business or in an opportunity to evaluate the type of ROI that's going to produce for you, either personally or financially?
Growth. That's the only thing I look at. I don't look at anything except opportunity. So like even if it's a small company, let's say, for instance, it's a developing company or whatever. If the opportunity is there and if I can help them grow, similar circumstance to Sloman's, right? So going back to that, I saw an opportunity that was just uncapped, something that just nobody has done. And I saw that opportunity and I said, I'm going to be the one to do it. And then I mean, at the end of the day, someone has to do it. And if nobody is doing it, then who is going to be the one to do it? And if you're not willing to step up, then guess what? Someone else is going to, and they're going to take that opportunity and they're going to make millions and millions of dollars. And then you're going to look back and be like, oh crap, well, that was my idea. I should have done it.
Coulda, woulda, coulda. Yeah. World, the road is paved with good intentions, right? What does they say? The pathway to hell is paved with good intentions, right?
Oh yeah.
Now, let me ask you another question. So where I think that your gummy business is uncharted waters, right? The sky is the limit on what can transpire there. True Legacy Vodka, which is another company that you have ownership in and influence, and that's a little bit more of a crowded space, right? Vodka and liquor in general, right? So tell me
one thing, but when you have celebrities like Snoop Dogg and Big Percy, Snoop Dogg's manager, and Cedric the Entertainer, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. It was voted the #1 vodka to mix in cocktails, and got the highest ranking ever on Wine Enthusiasts. So, it's already extremely established, which is really good. I was the one that brought it into Nashville and into Tennessee. And the Tennessee market is building right now, which is really good. So yeah, the vodka, I mean, it's second to none. It's like drinking water, bro. At the end of the day, I'm not a big vodka drinker at all. Like, and everyone knows this. My go-to drink is Jack and Coke normally.
Yep.
But once you drink this vodka, it's like literally not drinking anything. It's as smooth as a whistle until you're like, holy crow, like, and it creeps up on you.
So, folks, drink responsibly, right? You know, make sure that you got Uber on speed dial, right? Because True Legacy will smooth its way right into into your hangover there, right? But
Yeah.
But hey, Young, let's shift gears here for a moment. Because we've been talking about the fact, we've been talking about the fact that you can, like you were able to rap and perform for people that created opportunities for you. The rap and hip hop space is unbelievably crowded as well, right? And of all genres, old school, new school, and it's from the process, is it the same today that it was years ago when it was all about just the lyrics and the poetry? Or like, what are the analytics and what goes into driving success in that type of crowded space?
So yeah, hip hop is very crowded, right? You have three different types of people in hip hop. You have the people that are just all about the clout, right? So you got the clout rappers, like, oh yeah, look how big my following is, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, whatever. You got the clout rappers, you got the real rappers, the ones that are coming out with real lyrics and real like actually have a message behind what they're saying.
Yeah.
And then you have the people like me, which are the business rappers. So like, I don't care about how much streams, because guess what? That's what people are looking at, right? It doesn't matter about how much streams you make. If for 1 million streams you make $4,000 on Spotify, right? Like where I focus my time and effort is where the money's at. So we focus a lot on overseas because overseas pays a lot more money than the US, like literally 8 times more than the US pays. So we went top 20 overseas and on the European charts. So that's where we focus our time and effort because that's what generates money. These cats out in the game right now, they just care about the clout. And guess what? A year, 2 years, whether they sign a record deal with a major label or whatever they do, 2 or 3 years later, 9 out of 10 times they're already broke, because they're just not doing the right moves. They're not making other business decisions with their money. They're taking that money and they're spending it on a chain. They're spending it on a watch. They're spending it on teeth or whatever, instead of putting it into the bank, collecting interest, whatever, making investments, blah, blah, blah. So what I pride myself on is actually the ability to make things happen in the right places to do it. The next record we're gonna drop will smash the US, and that's a promise that it will. So just mark here first. This will be the first time really that we're gonna focus and really destroy this US market, because we have a big surprise coming right after that. And I don't want to give too many details, but one of the biggest names in hip hop will come out of the woodworks and hop on the remix for what we're doing.
Woo! I'm loving that, brother.
Yeah. So there's a time and there's a place for everything, right? So like Dr. Dre said, like, would you rather be rich? Would you rather be famous? Of course, I'd rather be rich than famous. But at the same time, if you can do both, then do them. But there's a time and place for everything, right?
Amen.
Like now is the time that we take over the game. And by the end of this year, like 50 Cent said, you read the article or whatever. projecting Young Gray to be one of the top new artists.
50 Cent, ladies and gentlemen, 50 Cent, you know, in the club, right? You know who he is, right? Magic Stick, the whole 9 yards with Lil Kim, said that you need to pay attention to Young Gray. He is going to be one of the top artists in the game. That does not freaking grow on trees, right? Curtis said it, right? Unbelievable. We are InfinityX. Stage and microphone with human excellence, folks. This is Young Gray, who has just, I mean, just the story is magical, right? Everything that he is up to, you need to be paying attention to this man. You need to be paying attention to what he's doing, watching and following and mimicking his maneuvers, right? And some of the things that he is creating in his world, because they're magical, they're special, they're unique. This is the James Bond of hip hop. You said, you heard it here. He said, "I'm a business rapper." Right, which means not that he's not concerned, he's not concerned with brand image. He's not concerned with lyrics, because I've heard what he spits, and it's unbelievable. And he is not concerned with clout, right? Because that just kind of naturally has come to him, but it's not something that he's going to be seeking. He's seeking for, when you launch a business, ladies and gentlemen, you have to think about long-term growth, right? One of the biggest challenges with businesses is that businesses outpace themselves. They grow too quickly. They don't scale, right? If you have an online business, right, and you take on more purchase orders than you can handle, that's a death sentence for a business if you're not outsourcing. And so with that in mind, Young, let me ask you another question pertaining to your day in and day out business activities. What are some things that you have outsourced that you used to do yourself that now by outsourcing has freed up your time and energy to be focused in different things?
Well, first off, my team has always really stayed the same. So like Joey, Slangsmith, H. Austin, my team has stayed the same from day one. Now there are specific things that we have outsourced as far as marketing goes. We literally have the number one TikTok marketing agency in the world. They only take less than, I think it's like 15% that they approve to actually go through. They work with all the majors and so on. They saw me and they're like, you know what, we want to do all of your TikTok, all of that cool stuff. Which, by the way, Lucky Walk hit top 3 on TikTok's dance category and did over 450 million total views on TikTok. And I did that all by myself.
Wait. Oh my God. Well, folks, Lucky Walk is one of Young Gray's most popular records and is absolutely fire. I love it. And it's if you're following me on Instagram, Dave Harder _epic, I did a collaboration video. With Lucky Walk in the background, getting prepared for tonight. You got to check that out. Lucky Walk. Check it out on YouTube. We are InfinityX.com. We are InfinityX YouTube for the replay. And Young, let me ask. So from a lot of your your team has remained intact, right? But then from an outsourcing perspective, you outsourced a little bit more to social media. Right on the social media. D, what's up, buddy? How you doing, Bubba? What's up, buddy? I'll see you soon. So
I put inside, so I gotta put him back inside real quick.
It's all good. It's all good, my friend. God
real
bless.
life of an artist right here.
Life of an artist. Yeah, this is as real as it gets, ladies and gentlemen. This is dope. This is unbelievable. So, Young, when it comes to social media, right? Anytime that you go onto TikTok, anytime that you go onto YouTube, you're seeing, you're seeing people that are looking to make names for themselves, not only rapping, but also in reacting to rappers and reacting to music. And how do you feel that social media, what do you think social media has done to kind of change the landscape of the music industry and specifically hip hop? But what do you see it doing going forward? Right? Like, how do you see the game continuing to evolve in that space?
So things like TikTok, right? For example, it's trending more towards that. Obviously, you have Reels now with Instagram and so on. People want that real quick something to grab their attention, which is crazy because on TikTok, these influencers are literally in the kids' eyes, like in my daughter's eyes and the kids' eyes. These TikTokers are bigger stars than like Mark Wahlberg and Denzel Washington and people like that. They look at these TikTokers and so on as mega celebrities, essentially. In the kids' eyes, they're A-list celebrities. So I think like it's trending in that way. So like if people have very short attention spans, right? Like I scroll through Instagram and I barely go on, like I'll go on once or twice a month or whatever, and I scroll through Instagram and as I'm scrolling through Instagram, I'll see stuff that attracts me or whatever, but the reels are where it's at now. Reels and TikTok, and that's really not going to go away. So when we focus on marketing and stuff like that, now like I tell my team, like we got big machine behind us. So like my team is very stacked, man. We my project has over 58 collective Grammys involved on it, from producers to multi-Grammy engineers. Brian Sherrill is one of my best friends. He has 7 Grammys. Orlando has 5 Grammys. Miles Williams 5 Grammys, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And the reason why, and I don't know if I'm going off topic, but if you surround yourself with those type of people, then you become one of those type of people. And I have always surrounded myself with the top of the line people. So we push ourselves to excellence. But again, I've stuck with my people from day one. I have the best publicist in the game, Hala Marak. She's on TMZ. You see her on TMZ and so on. Joey, H, the same team. Will, for a long time. We just added a lot more key players. So we have Christy DiNapoli is responsible for 80 #1 singles out. You probably know of him from like Chris Stapleton or Walker Hayes or even Taylor Swift. So we brought him on board, and he works hand in hand with us. Paul Allen is my business partner. Me and him run Gray Nation, and we wanted to get the best of the best people to make sure that we're moving our stuff. So the guys that are pushing our records now are the same ones that broke Travis Scott's records and Lil Baby records and everything. And those are the guys that are moving our records now. So like when we came in, we're like, yo, we're not playing around. Like we need the best everything moving forward. And we got the best everything right now.
Man, what you are up to is absolutely just mind-blowing. Folks, we are InfinityX, stage and microphone, human excellence. This is Dave Barone, aka Young Gray, Gray Nation. Young, when is the album? Do you have any idea when the album is going to be dropping?
We'll drop it within the next month or two. I've been holding on to this album for over 3 years now. So we've been working on this for a while now. Like when I tell you a while, I have introductions from Macklemore, Fetty Wap, you name it, the Cataracts, the last Cataracts record ever.
Wow.
So we have huge names involved on it, but most importantly, the production and the beats and everything are done by the best.
Let me ask you another question. By the way, folks, replay, we are InfinityX.com. We are InfinityX YouTube. Another question for you, and this is probably be my last question of the evening as we kind of move on. But by the way, shout out to Gary. Gary was asking for round 2. We will to be continued. But yeah, Young, you are from New Jersey, right?
Born and raised, yeah.
Born and raised, and I know that marketplace real well, as you know. You're now. It would be silly for me not to think that your influence, right? folks, groups like the Fugees, right?
Yeah,
Lords of
yeah.
the Underground, right? Groups like that. New Jersey Redman, right? New Jersey
Uh-huh.
hip hop artists you mentioned Nas and Biggie, but were inspirational for you. But now you're operating in Music City, right? You're in Smashville, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
It's crazy. It's crazy that you bring up Redman and these names because um like um a little bit of me. So like K Solo is one of my mentors.
mm,
Shamelo Durant, who produced Poison by Belva DeVoe and Busta Rhymes, Put Your Hands Where Your Eyes Can See.
mm,
Everywhere I would go, you would see Shamelo with me. Everywhere. I would call him daily. He's probably one of the greatest lyricists that I've ever met. Um, it's unfortunate he passed away from a heart attack. Um, and that was probably the biggest hit that I've ever taken in this because he was my music guy. Anything music related, I would call Shamelo for, and he would be there for me. Um, but that I carry on with me. So that East Coast feel like Reggie, like Redman, all of
yeah,
them. They all know who Young Gray is.
that's
Um,
unbelievable.
yeah, yeah. But
But now that you're operating in the heart of country, in the heart of the country, right, in the birthplace of country music, again, business is about adaptation, right? Tell
yeah.
tell me tell me what you're doing tell me what you're doing in the space of working in the same sandbox as very very popular country music.
Mm-hmm. So, long story short, right? Um, Same thing I did for Sloman's, right?
Mm,
It was
mm,
an untapped market. Down here, it's extremely untapped market. You do have a few big names like Young Buck and Yellow Wolf,
yeah.
obviously Jelly Roll, and some of these cats that are in the same exact market. The crazy thing is, two of those names came to our after party to support what we're doing as far as the movement that we're creating right now. Because with those names and a few extra names, and I'm sorry if I haven't mentioned any extra names on there, but between those names and the extra names here, it kind of has to be a point that we come together and we really build this hip hop out in this market. Um, and I'm willing to take that leap, and that's why I came out here is because this is Music City. It's not just
Yeah.
country music. This city has the best music engineers in the world. This is where I met Orlando. And then he has 5 Grammys with like Lady Gaga and Beyonce and all of that cool stuff. So
Mm.
that's where I met him, was out in Music City. It doesn't matter like where you're from or whatever. People flock to Nashville because this is the spot for music, and we're just pumping them with really good music, and we don't intend to stop anytime.
Woo! Oh, folks, we are InfinityX, stage and microphone. This is Young Gray. Replay, we are InfinityX.com. We are InfinityX YouTube. My boy is in the building. I love Dave. I gotta tell you, man, this hour went by in about 5 minutes for me,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
as I continue
That's
to
what,
get as I continue to get to know you, I like you more and more every single time that I'm with you. I love you. You're my boy. But you think but you have no idea. I really, really didn't understand everything that has shaped the incredible human and the incredible entrepreneur and the incredible rapper, James Bond of hip hop, an incredible person that you are. And so this has been just a real treat for me. It's my honor and my privilege to share the mic and the stage with you. This was your show today, not mine, brother. That's for damn
no,
sure.
no. Your show, man. I'm honored to be on here, brother. For real.
Listen. Let's conclude with this because you've dropped golden nugget after golden nugget all night tonight. And what would you leave the good folks that have spent the time with us this evening on Infinity X? What would you leave them with? as they look to continue to pursue their entrepreneurial dreams, their journey, and just any good advice that has been given to you that you could pass along to these good folks?
I would say I'll leave them with the lyric, right? So
Yeah.
from Celebrate, like, I could turn your life to a dream, turn your dreams to your life. And I think if you think about that and just reevaluate that, and I've talked about it with a bunch of my friends endless amounts of times. H, who I always talk about, we always go over that line. But if you really believe something, and like I said before, I would go to bed every day thinking one thing, like, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. The best sales reps in the world, they write out their top 5 goals every single day, right? As if they already accomplished it. So like, so this is true. This is what I do myself. I write out a top 5 goal every day as if I already accomplished it. So I said, all right, but on July 4th, I bought this, boom. On August 5th, I did this, boom, blah, blah, blah. So, and if you write it every day, then your mind is going to start thinking that until it actually happens.
Oh, man,
and so I could turn your life to your dream, turn your dreams to your life. Think of it like that. Pow, mic drop.
Mike. That is my boy, Young Gray. Folks, we are InfinityX stage. And Mike, this has been Young Gray, James Bond of hip hop, sharing the stage with us this evening, dropping jewels, dropping gold nuggets. Young Gray, Gray Nation album coming out. And what do you have a name for the album, Young?
I'm we're probably gonna retitle the album. I had a specific album name that I wanted to title it before, but I'm gonna reevaluate specific name for the album probably. But next song dropping is Roll Loud.
Woo!
Roll Loud, and people
are
gonna recognize the specific sound with this. So I was giving away little teasers throughout this.
Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. Success leaves clues. Human greatness needs to be modeled. Who are you modeling after, right? If you're an entrepreneur, you might want to think about modeling after Young Gray. This is Young Gray, Gray Nation, Lucky Dog, Roll Loud, dropping out, Young Gray Gummies, True Legacy Vodka. Catch him on Young Gray at Instagram, Young Gray on TikTok. And Young, I love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
It's really just been an incredible pleasure to spend some time with you this evening, my friend. And thank you for everything. And ladies and gentlemen, we are InfinityX, giving a stage and microphone to human excellence, just like Young Gray. We are coming each and every single Tuesday with different level entrepreneurs. We continue to bring value. And from all of us in the InfinityX Nation to the Gray Nation, we thank you, Dave. It's been a lot of fun tonight, man.
Thanks for having me, brother. Appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you. Good night, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Good night,